For this video, it's appropriate that the camera work be fuzzy for a minute. Because in reality, the truth is fuzzy. It's hard to see it. But I'm going to lay out the truth for you. In the 80s, members of my government approached me and said the world is heading for a massive financial crisis. We need to figure it out. We need to understand why. And I said to them, okay, you need to give me the financial records, so I need to see what's going on. They said, well, you're Crown Prince. You're young, but you're going to see it eventually anyway. Okay. And they did. They showed me a lot. Talked to me a lot about the finances of this country. It's when I created welfare. Because I knew we needed it. I knew that the people needed money in the system, or the system will collapse. And without that, it's a problem. And nobody could figure out why it was a problem, so they said. And here I am struggling to figure it out. And I worked my ass off to figure it out, try to understand it. And then I realized, regardless of whether I understood all the mechanics behind why it was in this condition, what I needed to do to prevent the collapse was to induce something called guaranteed income. Welfare was actually the first stage of that. But I knew that wasn't enough money because of inflation, because of its constant growth and constant greed of people. And here's why. Now, I know this might not be intentional. It might not be this big, huge thing where everybody's a gluttonous pig and we're all trying to rape the poor. But allow me to explain to you the way a financial system works and what the Jews know and why they do it the way they do, and allow me to bring a little light. Because in the Jews' financial system, as we use it, it's screwed. And the reason is we don't use it the way they use it. They understand that for the system to work, the people have to have money. Now, in their system, they make each of their people serve 2 years. But when they do, they have a government pension for life. Do you know why they actually do that? It's not just for military purposes, it's for financial reasons. They all have a stipend from the government from birth, a small amount of money that's given to them as an investment kind of a thing. And by the time they're old enough, they have a nice little nest egg already. Well, that is what we need to do for our Canadian citizens, and that is what guaranteed income is all about, providing that nest egg for you before you're of age, or, well, to be honest, when you're of age, so that you can move forward into the financial world with success. You ever heard the saying, it takes money to make money? Well, that's true. Combine that with one other little known fact, that there is a finite amount of money in the system. There's only so much, and you can't print more because it will destabilize your economy. Which means it's only a matter of mathematics, sheer mathematics, nothing else, no supposition, no who's the bad guy, nothing. But consider the following for those of you who are wealthy. There are only so many dollars in the system of any country, of any nation. And when you hoard money for yourselves and make a career out of building super yachts for the super rich who hoard all this money, here's what happens. Percentage-wise, when you take enough out of those systems, there's no longer enough left for the rest of us. And the rich seem absolutely dedicated to keeping it that way, to manipulating the percentages to that huge number. But it's only because there are more and more people wanting to be wealthy, and the status that you call wealthy goes up. The number goes up. It used to be a millionaire. Now it's a billionaire, or 100 million, or 10 million, because a million is not very much anymore. A million won't even buy you a nice car. And so things have changed, and they've gotten so much worse, so far out of hand, so fast, nobody knows what to do about it. Well, I'm going to tell you what to do about it. Wealthy people, here is the solution. The world's economists need to do what I'm telling you right now, what I'm about to tell you. And the reason is, what you need to do is sit down and figure out the exact number of money that is needed for the poor and middle class to not be poor, to have a minimum guaranteed income of $48,000 a year provided by the system, period, so that they have the minimum base to move forward, to provide for their education, all that. They need this. In addition to that, the extra can be the money for countries to manage and for the wealthy. But there has to be management. There has to be limits. Because the second we go past the tipping point, where the wealthy have taken so much out of the system, the rest of us no longer have enough, we find ourselves in the situation we're in now. And they are not inclined to give it back. Worse than that, they teach their kids to hoard more and leave it to them. And they grow the fortune, and their whole goal is to grow the family fortune. It's been going on that way for thousands of years, started by ancient conquerors. And they created a slavery system whereby all they have to do is manipulate the numbers. And because they were conquerors and they had taken all the gold and all the wealth, they had it all. All they had to do was maintain some of it, a certain percentage. And as long as they maintain that percentage of the world's wealth, they maintain absolute control. There are some solutions. These people, these super wealthy people who are used to getting everything done for them because we'll do stuff for money, we need to stop doing these things for them. Don't burn the world. They didn't do anything wrong. But governments need to address the finances of their country so that their people can manage in the system that exists. The Jews laid out their system intending to give their people money and specifically warn you that if you follow that system and don't give your people money to survive in it and teach them how to manage it, you will be slaves to it. That's what it says. And what do? Go out of their way not to teach it. Why don't they teach economics in high school? Go out of the way to tax the shit out of whatever you do make so you'll never have enough. Because they've manipulated the percentages, as simple as that, to keep the rich rich and the poor poor. You might think that. Well, in the background, they did. They did it thousands of years ago, and they knew once they started the system, they wouldn't have to do anything because it would manage itself. Because the wealthy don't want to let go of the wealth. Well, if we're ever going to advance past this point, we need a day where either the wealthy are killed, their money is taken, and we redistribute it, or the wealthy realize this fact and do the right thing and say, okay, I don't need more than $1 billion, man. That's a huge amount of money. I mean, my company could be worth more than that, but I don't need that kind of money. That's way more than I need. Every dollar you take away from that helps us. You don't need it, man. You don't need a new fucking super yacht. We need the money in the system that you would use. And it doesn't need to go to some rich Italian company to fund the mafia or some crap like that. It needs to go to the people whose country the money was made in. Or you're taking the money out of a limited financial system and exporting it. That should be a financial crime. Because our economies need that money. And you're milking Canada dry. Maybe that's why they came up with a drink called Canada Dry. Maybe that's the plan, right? Well, that actually was. I know that for a fact. Canada was split up financially by the British, the Americans, and the French. They were all warring over it. It's the only way the country got built, guys. It's time for us to update the system.